Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de whether I'd like a beach town on the Gulf Coast. Yes, the forgotten coast that I never hear people talk about. Well, at least not from New Yorkers. Okay. And oh yeah, whether Mr. Fluffy would like it too. Hail, XenPuck here. It's time for me to see the spotlight to our lovely Mr. Fluffy once again. And today I'm finally going to pick a less foreign location. This is because my wifey apparently really likes beachy vacations for relaxation purposes. And I, being someone who doesn't know how to swim, knows almost nothing about beach towns. Obviously, that just means that I've started researching them, and what the heck, even if I don't swim, I can still appreciate the proximity to the ocean, you know, root of all life, and all that song inspiringness of it all, okay? So, since we live in Texas, I've been more tempted by beaches on the Gulf Coast. Alas, I hear that the beaches west of the Mississippi River runoff are not very pretty. So then I had to narrow down beachy destinations to the east of the runoff spot, right? Which really only leaves me like one area in Alabama and a whole lot of choices in Florida, right? And finally, out of all the Florida Gulf Coast beaches, we've kind of narrowed things down to Sarasota, Florida. Yes, this will actually be the first entry of the But Would Mr. Fluffy Go There series that's actually in the USA, which also makes it probably the most likely spot to be visited relatively soon. Okay, now on to our usual criteria-based breakdown. Location. Well, I already sort of went over how I settled on Sarasota. I mean, honestly, I'm not mentally stuck on any specific one Florida beach town, right? In my research, I hit about a handful of other Florida beach towns just on the Gulf Coast side alone. Now that we live in Texas, I'd say that I hope to make it to all of them actually within a year or two, COVID permitting, right? I don't know, I hear Gulf Coast beaches are generally more calm and more for relaxation than, say, for like surfing, right? That works for me, right? For me, it really came down to Pensacola versus Sarasota. First of all, what's up with these four-syllable name towns, right? I wonder if they have some common Native American roots to these names, because to my ears, they sound super similar. Anyway, for me, the big difference is actually that Pensacola is somewhat remotely drivable from where we are, whereas Sarasota is far enough that we'd have to fly, right? Usually closer would have been preferable, but I ran those two ideas by wifey, and she seems to have heard about Sarasota a little bit more. That's good enough of a tiebreaker in terms of, you know, our first Florida Gulf Coast beach town adventures. Next up is food. Well, obviously, I'm not picking a beach town, any beach town, for food, right? That's a rarity if you know what a piggy I can be, you know, in terms of, you know, picking a location based on food. However, I will say this, in our recent, more intra-Texas state-level travels, I've actually found a few seafood dishes in typical American restaurants that to be quite impressive, more than I thought it would. I mean, these are definitely not the kind of seafood that I grew up eating, but maybe, you know, the novelty of it is still working on me. Who knows? Anyway, but I don't think it's wildly out of expectation to think that a beach town probably has some of the better seafood choices. Now, I'll note that my wifey's actually not super into seafood because where she grew up, they are nowhere near the ocean, right? And yet she somehow loves beach towns. Go figure, right? So secretly, I'm hoping if we visit more and more beach towns, I can softly nudge her to accept a more varied diet of the bounties of the water. Fingers crossed on that one. After all, she says her spirit animal is a cat. Mr. Fluffy certainly loves fish, or at least specifically just salmon. So I hope my wifey would just get on board on that food train already. Now, attractions. So we've actually already been to a beach town via driving distance this year already, and honestly, that was the first beachy vacation I've had in ages. I mean, I enjoyed walking alongside the ocean as much as the next guy, but in terms of attractions, I mean, if we weren't doing the long walks for shopping and amusement and restaurant purposes, we pretty much just hung out by the hotel pool. I mean, I'm not knocking it as it is relaxing, but I guess these days I already feel very relaxed because I'm retired. Simply being by the pool or a body of water doesn't add too much for me personally, But again, this is all for wifey. She wants to go hang out by the hotel pool after our long walks by the ocean. I'm happy to oblige, right? Maybe someday when I learn how to swim, you know, beachy vacations would have more of a more substantial appeal. Someday. Look at how cute he is. I don't know if he likes being swaddled like this, though. Oh, are you trying to leave, Mr. Fluffy? Or are you? Okay, XFactors. I mean, do cats like water? I'm pretty sure not, right? So then I'm actually very confused as to why then cats like fish, right? Can you imagine Mr. Fluffy going to catch a fish? I mean, I doubt it if it's from the ocean. But then again, when I really think about it, I've never even seen a clip of a cat catching a fish like in the wild in any capacity, like not in a stream, nowhere. Poor Mr. Fluffy, you're such a house cat, aren't you? You can't catch anything, can you? So spoiled. Okay, I'll get some chin scratchies. You like your chin scratchies? Do you like your chin scratchies? Okay, I think he's probably annoyed that I keep doing that to him, but oh well. Okay, finally, realistic chance of going. I'd put this one at 100%, though I'm not sure exactly when we'll make it there, right? I'm also curious what part of this town might surprise me or not, right? I mean, you hear stereotypes about Florida, but I don't really put too much, serious consideration to stereotypes, right? I mean, after all, people have stereotypes about Texans in the state of Texas, and here I am, doing my thing without a cowboy hat in sight. Yet. Anyway, comment, like, and subscribe, or whatever. What's your favorite beach town in the US? Or rather, where do you think I should go? Cheers. Till next time. Say bye-bye, Mr. Fluffy. Where's your little paw? Say bye-bye.